Hi, I'm Mark from L&M Small Engine. Today we're working on a John Deere 450V chainsaw. Um, he said it sat for a while. I'm assuming it sat for a long time. But anyways, they wanted to use it. It starts up, but once you give it gas, it just dies out. So we'll go ahead and clean the carburetor. See if we can get this thing running good for him. So hope you enjoy the video. Okay, we'll go ahead and take the top off the air filter here. And it looks like we got a Walboro carburetor in there. And them fuel lines are just stiff as can be. And I notice it's a little wet around that groovement right there, so we'll probably have to do some fuel line replacing too. And it looks like Torx head screws will hold that carburetor in there, so I'll go grab some tools and we'll tear this thing apart. Okay, before I start tearing into this, I'm going to take the spark plug out and just check it, make sure it's burning good, and just make sure it's not scored or anything. Burning like a little bit on the dry side, so once we get it running, we're gonna have to richen it up a little bit. But other than that, it looks good. I'm probably gonna try taking this fuel line off where I get the bolts done because it's just hard as a rock. I don't want to break this plastic thing off, but yeah, you can see that just hard as a rock. So now we'll go ahead and finish taking it apart. Take all that off there. And on the throttle here, we'll just have to remove this whole idler screw thing off. I'm sure it's pressed in there, but I just don't want to break it and don't lose that spring. And just kind of twist a little bit to take the choke lever off. And there we go. Take the throttle linkage off. I'm just kind of clean it off just a little bit before I tear it apart. But I'm sure the diaphragms are probably stiff and stuff in there, so I might put a kit in there. We won't know that till I tear it apart. But I'll clean it up and we'll tear it apart. Okay, sprayed the outside of the carburetor off. It's an old HDA carburetor. That's an older one. So let's go ahead and take it apart here. Got a little bit of dirt in the screen there. Take these 4 screws off the diaphragm here. The needle's working good. That's really stiff. And them flippers ain't working properly, so it definitely gonna need a carburetor kit. So let me go try finding a carburetor kit. I'll be right back. Okay, I found a kit for it. It's a Walboro kit, but it looks like I got through Sten's. The Sten's number is a 615852. It looks like the right one to me. All brand new pieces in here. So before we start putting it together, you want to get a straight edge and run it And that flipper right there should be dead even with both sides. That's how that's adjusted right. So that's in good shape. So we'll get our base gasket here. Set it on there. We'll grab our new diaphragm. Get the little pins lined up. Go ahead and get all the screws started. Now we can go ahead and tighten her down. Make sure they're snug, but you don't want to over tighten them and break the heads off. Okay. A little oil in there. I'm going to go ahead and blow that out real quick. Pop it into them pins. And pop it into place with them pins. Get that snugged up. I'm going to check these mixture screws real quick. Like on that spark plug is running kind of lean. We'll screw these in and see how far out they will. We'll do the low first. There's 1/2, one, but 1 1/8. 1/2, one. And we're gonna do it 1/4. We'll screw in the high. 1/2, one, 1/2, one. Once we get started, we'll fine tune that. But I'll go grab the saw now and we'll put this back in there. Okay. So right now we're gonna go ahead and hook up the throttle linkage. Then we gotta put this choke back on there. Like so. And I gotta put this back in that pin, slide it in there like that. That's like your vacuum line. That's what runs your diaphragm right there. This is a feel line. We're not going to hook this up right away because I'm going to replace it. I got the choke turned around, the lever turned around here. So let's pop that back out. Small little area for big hands. Now let's hook this. There. That looks a lot better. Okay. Okay, all that's working. Put the idle adjustment screw back in. I'm gonna blow it off a little bit of sawdust and stuff in there. I'm gonna clean it up a little real quick. Okay, I'll pull it out of ways. Get that plastic piece in there. There we go. Make sure everything's still working. And I'll put that bottom screw for that base in there. Okay, go ahead and put a new spark plug back in there. Before I do that, the guy said it sat for a long time. I'm gonna spray a little bit of WD-4 in there just to lubricate the rings in there before the oil and the gas kind of get to it. You don't want to score the cylinder wall or anything. A little bit of oil in there is not going to hurt nothing. Okay, now we got to deal with that fuel line now. Okay, here's grommet is right here that goes in the tank. You can see it's really, really loose. And if you turn it upside down or something, gas just drips out of there. And I called John Deere, and guess what? That part is unavailable. Imagine that. So I'm gonna have to modify something. Gotta figure something out. You can't have leaking gas, especially when you're cutting wood, in case the doggone thing catches on fire or something. I'm gonna cut that line, get it out of there. There we go. It just can't even bend it. I make this cracks. There's a little rubber grommet right here. It just brittle as all get out. That's where it's leaking. So I'm gonna go dig around my old chainsaw parts. See, we got to find something to fix this. Can't let it go that way. So I'll go find some. I'll be right back. Okay, what I come up with a few different things I can use. I got this little grommet right here that I could try putting in that hole right there, and just run a fuel line through it. I could try that way. The original piece you put in there, and it's kind of at an angle because it's to come through the top at an angle, but I think I can make that work. I got this one here too. I could like cut it off right here and just run the hose through that. This one here comes off some kind of a steel. That was in the steel pile. And this one here it's for a echo chainsaw. So I'm gonna put some lubricant on this. I'm gonna try to see if I can get this one in there and try this running this out of the fuel filter down on this and just run it straight up there. Gotta try something. This is too bad you can't get parts for these anymore. But I gotta try something, I guess. So I'm probably gonna put this down. Put that down through that hole there. That I don't have to worry about feeding it through after I get it in. So I'll go ahead and slide that in there. We can always make that long. We can always cut that off. We have to have that long enough to get to the bottom of the fuel tank where we put the fuel filter on. You know, we can always cut some off. It's better to have a little bit longer than not long enough. You can always shorten them. It's really hard to lengthen them. So I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. My hands are blocking this. You can't see. I apologize. This is gonna be a real tight fit here, but I'll do what I can. I think I about got it here. Well, definitely not leaking. So I think that's gonna work. Fish out the fuel line here. I'll cut a little bit off here. Then we put our fuel filter on there. I got a little pair of needle nose that I ground off the ends a little bit so you can stick it inside here and just gently spread it apart a little bit so you can get these filters on there. Dump a little bit more gas in there. Oh, we have it. Now we just got to run the line. Turn this around. This will go to the carburetor. Spread it a little bit. I'm gonna make sure there's not gonna be no kinks in there. I'm gonna have to shorten it a little bit more, but yeah, it looks good like that. Okay, I'm gonna blow that out a little bit before I put that back on. We'll do that and we'll go ahead and try starting it. Okay, we'll turn it on, pull the choke out, put it on fast idle, and once it kind of like pops, we'll take the choke off. And it's not dripping no more either, so we got that fixed there. So well, that's a nice round saw for an old John Deere. Anyways, I appreciate you watching my videos, and you have yourself a good afternoon. Bye.